This episode of the Royal Insider is brought to you by Covenant Health. Covenant Health, the official sports medicine partner of Johnson University Athletics. Welcome to the Royal Insider. I am your host, Brandon Perry. I am the athletic director here at Johnson University. I am joined today, as usual, Addison Lafayette, Logan Galbraith. Yeah, we got a good show today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good.
So, our president, Dr. Daniel Overdorf, is here today. Is going to be joining us to talk a little bit of athletics, which is always exciting to get to dive into that deep. But yeah, here we are on this wonderful fall morning, recording this podcast. The weather has changed in Tennessee. We're bundled up.
It has.
It's cold all of a sudden. Yeah. So here's my question. Do you guys have any fall traditions that you like? Well, first off, do you love the fall? Like, are you spring, summer people, fall people? Nobody's a winter person. I forget that. But, right?
Okay. I told you before the podcast, I'm like a fall winter. That's my favorite.
That's your favorite time, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the fall. It's my favorite by far.
Logan loves pumpkin patches.
Yeah, he does love pumpkin patches.
I just think it'd be fun to go to a pumpkin patch. I went to them as a kid. I haven't gone.
He wants
in a
to
long
slide
time.
down the slide and play in the corn. And,
I'm going to let him take my kids to a pumpkin patch.
Do corn
I think that'd be
maze,
great.
Hay rides. And
He'd have
so
just as
fun.
much fun as they would.
That is like your fall tradition, like from your family.
That's what
hay
we
rides
did
and
growing up. We haven't done it in a long time, but go to like one of those farms, do like the hay rides, pumpkin, all that fun stuff. So,
all right.
That's what
So, are you guys big into Halloween as well?
I was never like big into it like some people were big into it. I always thought it was fun. We always dressed up and went trick or treating, but I know some people seriously like get into Halloween.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I love Halloween, but probably not for traditional reasons. Judah has kind of a weird obsession with Halloween, so we don't do the typical trick or treat thing, right? So he gets dressed up. We do a couple of houses. They get a little bit of candy. My kids don't eat candy, which is so weird. So I end up eating it all, which is awesome. I just sneak it.
What's like your top 3 Halloween candies?
Yeah. What are you going for first?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to eat all the Reese Cups first.
Okay.
And Kit Kats too. Like those are kind of
So
like.
you're like a chocolate.
Oh yeah, I'm chocolate guy all the way.
Okay.
So all the packs of M&Ms too is probably.
Yeah.
See, this is gonna be a hot take here. I always go for the multicolored pack of the Twizzlers.
Ew.
That's what I go for first every time.
Ew.
That's gross, man.
No, I've always been a big Twizzler guy. I know I said hot take, but I love those. Also, as a kid, another hot take: those Dots candies.
What was wrong with you?
Yeah. The Dots that's like the squishy.
It's
ones.
like the little gumdrop thing.
Now, I do like the little circle like shell with chocolate. It's kind of like an M&M, but it's like a round one. I don't know what they're called. Sixlets or something like that.
Oh yeah. Those are good.
I always like those as well. But anyways, my kids, they don't do Halloween in the traditional way. They don't care about the candy that much. Judah does stash it, which I think is fun. He puts it behind his bed and it sits there like all year round. So he hides it, but I just sneak in there and take a little bit at a time, and he never actually knows.
Nice.
So now he's going to if he watches this, but oh well. But yeah, he does that, and then he likes to give out candy. So he stays in his costume. My favorite year ever, he was dressed as Spider-Man, but not the regular Spider-Man, the Miles Morales Spider-Man. And he sat on our front porch and we played music and he danced for hours. Danced, like all out danced for hours as Spider-Man.
That is awesome.
It was fun. It was loads of fun. Now he will probably be like really mortified that I said this for all the people who watch this podcast, but that's... Oh well, he'll be fine.
So we need to go to your house for Halloween. So we get a
You need to come get some candy.
But are you the house that hands out like full size candy? Or are you no? We had a few of those in my neighborhood growing up. Like
the full size, like the full bars.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But now I do give out. Like lots of it. So I buy way too much.
Well, that's good.
If I buy it now, if Jamie goes and buys it,
you're not like a 2 per person.
She's gonna skimp. So I'm gonna buy a lot.
Yeah.
And because I figure if no kids show up, again, that's more for me. Right? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So
goodness.
here are all the wonderful things that you are learning today on the podcast.
Yeah.
This is really inside athletics
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah,
the
it
Halloween
is.
take. We do have Halloween here. Like there's a trunk or treat,
Yeah.
couple of them, I believe, on campus,
Yeah,
which is pretty fun. My
yeah, I
kids
saw
do
that.
like coming and walking around for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do a few other things on that day. It's like they have the trunk or treat, and then they have, I think, like a little get together cookout
Yeah.
type thing.
That's
so
fun.
So a lot of our athletes will actually like get dressed up and do some of that too. So I always enjoy that day too. That was the one where we would do family costumes. We went as Mario and Luigi one year.
Oh,
Nice.
that's good.
Obviously, I was Luigi. He was Mario, but
I think Logan and you weren't you and your brother Mario and Luigi.
yeah, we were.
Yeah.
at
That's
one
one of
point.
my favorite
Yeah,
pictures.
Yeah, we were.
since we use all the Nintendo sound effects at games,
Yeah.
I should probably just walk around with that in my pocket and do that.
Well, speaking of our athletic teams, I know a few of them are doing like a costume game for Halloween this year.
Oh, yeah.
I know baseball is
that's
for
fun.
sure.
Yeah.
I know volleyball has in the past, but
yeah, they get dressed up and then like kind of scrimmage each other.
I think I really
In
want to go to the
costume.
baseball one to see if Coach Dave Serrano dresses up. in
Oh,
a
he
Halloween
has?
costume.
Oh, he has told me about it. I know that he is. I'm not going to reveal it.
Okay.
All right.
I want it to
but
be a surprise.
He has a plan.
Okay.
So
That'll be
Coach
awesome.
Serrano, man, getting all festive for Halloween. That's pretty awesome.
That'll be awesome.
Well, we got it. Like I said, we got a great show. Dr. Daniel Overdorf's here today. We will come right back and we'll actually do a review of all the teams and what's happened this week with the Johnson Royals. We'll be right back.
What does strength in numbers mean to you? At Covenant Health, it means we see nearly 2.2 million visits annually. It means our 13,000 dedicated experts are all working together for a common goal. With over 150 locations throughout East Tennessee, you'll always find an open door to care, because we are committed to being the first, best, and strongest choice for the one number who matters most. You. Covenant Health. Let our strength be yours.
And we're back. And this segment, we wanted to kind of focus on what's happened in the last week since our last podcast with the Johnson Royals. So, Addison.
Okay, so volleyball played 2 games last week. Their first game on Friday was Columbia, and they won 3-1.
Yeah. They got off to a good start. Again, couple of things to note. It feels like we keep talking about her, but Abby Brown, 14 kills in that game, but also Lucy Morris added 14 as well to that game. So good game from both of them. And a handful of other Royals got in on the action as well. So it was a good day for sure. Hannah Lukey put up 33 assists in that game, which was big for her, and getting to put that out because it led to bigger things later in the week.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So our next game was
Our next game was actually last night.
Yep.
Volleyball went and played at Bryan, and they swept them 3-0. Another really super exciting game for them.
absolutely. And like I said, Hannah Lukey, 33 assists on Saturday. She put up 16 more last night and picked up her 3,000th assist in her career, which is pretty incredible. Hannah's been a huge part of our team for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
And graduating and reaching that milestone, big deal. Congratulations, Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've had a few of those. We've had Abby with her 1,000th kill, Marissa with her 2,000th dig, and now we have Hannah with her 3,000th assist. And those three have just been crucial to this team's success for the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Abby came to us 3 years ago. The other two have played all the way through, all three leaving after this year. But it's great to see them going out with a great space. Also, picking up those wins, moving them into a tie for second place.
Yep.
As CIU dropped a game earlier in the week, and so now we are tied with them, setting up a big game this Saturday with Reinhardt, which we'll talk about later on.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
next up, we'll move on to soccer.
Yeah, we had both soccer teams had their senior night on Saturday. They played Columbia College. The women's team played first. They ended up winning 2-1, and then men's team played right after and tied 3-3.
Yeah, so our women picking up couple of goals from some seniors, which is great. Amy Johnson gets a goal, and then Lexi Hatch as well picks up one. Man, happy for the girls getting off to a great win. That's huge for them.
Yeah.
Lexi's somebody I have in class, so I didn't even realize until I looked this up that she'd scored. So pretty pumped about that. So I get to write her in class now about it and all that good stuff. So she's a good girl. So, so our men also picked up a lot of good momentum here. It didn't end the way they wanted, 3-3 tie, but still, I think huge. It's scoring, for us, and to go out and get three goals was a big deal. Robert Platt picks up one. Jose Bula, a senior as well, picks up one, and then Rue Ray also picking up a goal in that game. So, pretty good week for the Royals.
And I think we're seeing in both of our soccer teams right now what we've talked about kind of all year long is just not being able to really find their rhythm. I think they're really finding their identity and their rhythm right here at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it's looking like I haven't looked at it in full, but conference tournament, it's coming up. And I think we're right there on the fringe of being in there. So
yeah, especially getting off to a rough start and really enduring a lot of injuries, especially on our men's side. I think there was a point where they were missing 7 starters due to injuries, and now I think we're getting healthy and getting back on track, which is good. So that does it for this week. Our recaps are going to get shorter here as we move into the fall and winter. We don't have near as many games going on, but it was a good week for sure. So we'll be right back with Daniel Overdorf right after this.
Everywhere you look, you can find unexpected things that make you smile. Little reminders to care for your heart. At Covenant Health, we bring more heart to more places. That means more locations, advanced treatments, and expert physicians. Because we know your heart beats for more than just you. It beats for the people, moments, and dreams that matter most. More heart in more places for you. Covenant Health. Let our strength be yours.
Well, we are back, and we are here with Dr. Overdorf, president of Johnson University. Welcome, Dr. Overdorf.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. I've enjoyed listening to these, and it's fun to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I think when we started this whole process, we kind of envisioned this moment of like having you on and talking about athletics. I think it's a good place for parents, for our alumni base to kind of hear your heart for athletics. Sure. And I think, as we get started, you've been president now for a little over a year. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah, July 1st. So a year and 4 months or so.
And we're a few months in the waiting as well.
Yeah.
Well, how has that experience been for you so far?
Well, it's just been good. I would say, overwhelmingly positive. People have just been so encouraging to Carrie and me, and people praying for us and sending us cards, and there's some rough days here and there, of course, as with any job and any life. But yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed the opportunity to help advance our mission and be what we're going to be. So
well, especially as you move into a leadership role, a pretty big leadership role as far as our university is concerned. And are there any things that you came from? Being a professor, being the president of the university, are there things now that you would look back and tell Professor Overdorf differently than President Overdorf?
A couple things come to mind. I mean, I think I would definitely tell Professor Overdorf to, value the time with students. And I still get to spend a fair amount of time with students. Right. We had 30 students at our house last evening for bonfire and s'mores, and I still teach one class, one preaching class. But most of my life now is more administrative. It's meetings, it's working with administrators, and so I do miss the day in, day out having more time with students. So I would tell them to value that for sure. And then I think as far as what I recognize now that I didn't recognize then is just how important it is for all the different aspects of the college to work together. Yeah. And I'm a professor. I'm in academics, and you almost have tunnel vision for what you're doing. Right. but just to see how, the business side of it and the student life side of it and athletics and fundraising and just how all of that works together to be what we're going to be as a university. And in some ways, I think that's my, maybe one of my primary responsibilities is to see how all that does work together. I think of it sometimes like, like a quarterback. All the different players on the offense on a football team, everybody has their role. The receiver knows what he's doing. The lineman knows what he's doing. But the quarterback has to recognize what everybody is doing, and then how all of that works together to get the ball down the field. Right. And so in some ways, I see my role kind of in that sense that I need to have a picture of how all of it is working together so that we move the ball down the field as a university. Yeah.
I think it's interesting going back to your connection with students. I've often said, even when I left youth ministry, that was my struggle of like one of the reasons I did it was because when my youth group got so big, it was like I didn't have the same connection. You know, and then I found myself kind of doing the same path of like, I'm coaching, I get all of this connection. Now all of a sudden that is, it's kind of gone. You know, it's different. It's very different, and not gone, I guess, but just different. And I think that's hard. How do you? I want to get into deep philosophical things here. Like, how do you like manage that in a sense of, because really our purpose, our main value here is students.
Absolutely, yeah, and it takes more intentionality than it used to for us. That we and I, as I mentioned before, I'm intentionally still teaching a class. Right. It's kind of hard to fit in the schedule, but
which is what I do too.
Yeah. You're doing the same. And so that allows us to still have one foot there, at least with those students. But then too, Carrie and I have really tried to make our home and our back patio open to people. I mean, already this school year, goodness, I don't know, 4 or 5 times we've had different student groups over for different things. Right. So it just takes more intentionality than it used to.
Well, and I think one of the ways that you've done that has been through sports too.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think Dr. Smith, your predecessor here, kind of set an example of that for sure. Of he just didn't miss games very often. I mean, it's very rare that he wasn't there, and you've kind of kept up that tradition, which I know is meaningful, hugely meaningful. But also I think comes from your background, right? I mean, obviously you played basketball here at Johnson. I'm assuming high school as well and all that good stuff. So what has sports meant to you?
Wow. Well, because I'm 52 years old now. Right. And so I'm 30 years beyond playing anything competitively, at least. But I'm also at a season in life where, I can look back and reflect and think about in what ways has God grown me and developed me. And athletics was a huge part of that. And I know there were times in my life, in high school that it had too high of a priority. There were times it was too much of an emphasis in my life. But despite that, I mean, overall, and just what I learned about self-discipline and teamwork and leadership and my own growth, I look back at what I learned and how I grew through sports, and it no question, it was a significant part of my development. And I know for other people, they may have similar development through band or through theater or through choir, and but for me it was basketball. And what I learned from my coaches and my teammates, and what I learned about myself, how it pushed me. I have no doubt it's one of the ways God used to develop me. Well,
I mean, you mentioned being 52, but you're still hooping a little bit. So I had to tell
now
you,
and then,
I had to. I'm struggling with my knees. I cannot get out and play anymore. But I get a lot of slack from players who say, Dr. Overdorf's out here hooping and you're not. Like, what's going on? And I'm 46. So
I tell you, it takes me longer to recover than I used to.
I'm sure.
I play basketball. it's a week before I can move again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It is funny. Jamie always knows when I've tried to do something athletic by how long I'm under ice every night.
Yeah.
But that's where life goes. So, well, speaking of athletics, I think one of the big things, and you touched on this a little bit, but talk to us a little bit about how you see athletics fitting into like your broader vision of the institution and how we, fitting in from a academic standpoint, spiritual life, campus life. Like, how do you see athletics in that role?
Well, it's. I mean, the bottom line I would say is it's a significant way that we advance our mission, and that's been true of Johnson historically. There's we have all these historical pictures around campus, and there's pictures from late 1800s, early 1900s of these baseball teams and football teams, and I've got a friend who I go to church with who's kind of a local sports historian, and he sent me some articles over the summer of out of the Knoxville newspaper in 1910 and 1912 about the Johnson baseball team and games that we'd played against teams in the city. And so I look back at that. Of course, 1910, Ashley Johnson, our founder, was still president, and so I mean, Ashley and Emma saw athletics as a way to develop and grow students. Yeah. And so I think that part of our legacy is one of the parts I believe is critical to continue. Yeah. We educate and develop students who advance the mission of Christ, and that's what we do as a university. Athletics is one of the ways that we do that. We're educating students. We're developing them. I did devotions for one of the teams not long ago, and I told them in so many ways I feel like athletics is kind of a lab. It's a lab for spiritual growth. Yeah, because when in one sense it exposes your spiritual weaknesses. I mean, if I have trouble with my anger, if I have trouble controlling my tongue or working with other people, I mean, it's going to be most obvious, on the field. But at the same time, being on the field is a lab to grow in those areas. What better place to grow in controlling my anger or my speech or my teamwork? There's an intensity and an intentionality when you're on that field. That what a wonderful place, amazing place to foster spiritual growth. Yeah, and so I see that it's a key way that we develop our students.
Yeah, it's interesting. I in my sport management class, I actually do talk about this a lot. Where sport is it's a microcosm of culture, right? Like the things that we see, and especially now, I think in the professional levels, you see this more so, and in college too, as the rise of NIL, like athletes a lot of times are driving culture. Yeah. The things that happen in our culture, you see a lot of times in athletics. Even like COVID, for example, gets introduced to the United States through a basketball game, in a lot of ways. That was like the defining moment. Yeah. But also at the same time, sports is a revealer. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that these are these two things that are happening at the same time. That while it can drive culture, it also reveals like who you are. Yeah. Which is pretty incredible. Yeah. And in that, knowing those two truths, I think, how do we go about keeping the mission of Johnson like at the forefront? Like, how do you see that being played out?
Well, it's a couple of things. One, it depends so much on the leaders, the people, on you, on the coaches, assistant coaches. When you have people in those positions, and we do have these people in these positions who care so much more about our students than just the wins and losses or their performance on the field. And of course, we're going to hopefully perform at our best and push them and develop them. But the primary emphasis, the primary heart is the love that our coaches have for our students and our athletes. And so having the right people in place is key to the mission, and then I think just understanding that our mission, our development of students, it's just weaved into all of it. It's weaved into practice. It's weaved into the halftime conversations. It's weaved into the conversations in the van on the way home on these trips. I reflect even again on my own playing days, and those. You're in a van together for 4 hours after a ball game. And boy, there's some meaningful, deep conversations that happen there between teammates and with coaches, and so that it's, we think, well, we're traveling, we're doing this, we're doing that, but when we see the mission weaved into all of that, I think that's one of the key ways that we keep mission at the focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. We even talk about a third truth. We mentioned this too, but that sport is a developer, right? And I think trying to keep some of that idea at the forefront is really hard. And I would say to most people, we don't get that right all the time, right? It is easy to get caught up in wins.
Sure.
I mean, it just is. But one of the things I think we do get right is it's also easy to look at the hard moments and say, listen, we got to figure this out because there's harder moments ahead.
Yeah.
There's harder moments that are going to come in your life. Yeah. And if you can't get through this silly little game, you're never going to make it through financial troubles or family issues or some of these other things that life throws at us. Yeah. I think for you, what beyond wins are the things that matter most to you? What are the things that you're looking for out of our athletic programs?
Yeah. Well, the biggest, of course, would be the spiritual development, the discipleship piece, that this is one of the key ways that we're helping our student athletes to become more like Christ. And that would always be at the forefront of my hope. And then beyond that too, just their development as leaders, their development as good teammates become good community members and good church members, and good friends, good neighbors, and the academic piece.
Sure.
I'm so pleased you all have done, your staff and your coaches, the push our athletes to do well in the classroom, and they do. I mean, we're over 3.3 average GPA among all of our athletes.
3.38.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, which is incredible.
Oh yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And one thing I love is that because we stepped up our athletics, just a few years ago now, and when you do the comparison of athletes' GPA before we stepped it up to now, it's jumped 3 points.
Oh yeah, it's right at 3 points,
which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think, and I think a piece of that goes back just to that word intentionality.
Yeah.
That one of the things we did when we stepped it up was we've got to be more intentional. That this is a way we pursue our mission. It's a way we develop these students spiritually, and it's a way that we even develop them academically.
That's good. Well, mentioning that change in divisions, and you were a professor when we made that change. And I guess my question would be, and I think for our audience to hear more than anything, is like, how have you seen that transition? Like has that been beneficial to the institution, and in what ways, as far as from your perspective?
Yeah. Oh, I'd say tremendously beneficial. Yeah. And when the transition first happened and we first began to talk about options, I was a little nervous about it.
Sure, everybody was.
I know, because like, what does this mean? Does this mean we're emphasizing athletics too much? Does it mean this is going to eclipse our mission and what we're really about? And Dr. Smith, my predecessor, one of the things he kept going back to is whatever we do, we want to do it well. Yeah. And it's all to the glory of God. Mm-hmm. And if it is to the glory of God, we don't want to do anything second rate. Mm. And looking back as we walk through that transition, I'm very pleased with how it's gone.
So let me shift gears just a little bit and ask this side question. Sure. I deal with parents all the time and recruiting, and I often say when they sit down with me to talk about recruiting, which I don't do as much as I used to, but I do say a lot. I don't envy you. And the position that you're in. I mean, having to make decisions at 18 years old and as a parent for your 18-year-old that are going to impact them long term. Mm-hmm. It's just not an easy task, right? And there are so many options out there. So what, I guess as from a perspective of a president, but also a parent who has sent kids to college, how would you, what advice would you give parents to help navigate that time frame?
Well, it's and I do. I've got a son who's a senior in college now and a daughter who's a freshman who we just sent off a couple months ago, and the decisions that go into it, as basic as this might sound, of course, you bathe it in prayer.
Yeah.
I one of my weaknesses is I'm a logical person. I'm a problem solver or something. I want to work out my schedule and my to-do list, and sometimes I forget to pray. And so I'd certainly encourage bathing this whole process in prayer. And looking at options. You're looking at different colleges. Athletes are looking at different coaches and different programs. As you're doing that, I think the bottom line question for the parents and for the student is, where can God best prepare me for what God wants me to be? And we think we have a lot of good things going on here, and I'm biased toward what we're doing here.
Right.
But if God can best prepare somebody somewhere else, I hope that's where they end up. Yeah. Because that really is the hope, and that's what I would hope that parents and students will be considering as they're looking at various options. And I would encourage them to. Sometimes we see it as if I get this wrong, I've completely ruined my life, and that's not true either.
Absolutely.
And sometimes even I think God may have people on a path of being in a couple different places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes different programs within the same university, or maybe maybe they're 2 years one place and 2 years somewhere else. Yeah. So we may sometimes put even too much pressure on it. Yeah. That I think it's the end of the world if we get this wrong, and it's not. You know, and oftentimes there might be three options that are all good options. Right. And you're not going to go wrong with any of the three. Yeah. So I would tell parents that, and then I mentioned my daughter's a freshman, so we've just sent her off, and so we're kind of. How do you be a good parent when they're gone? Yeah. And we try to keep communication open, but not hover at the same time. We're always there to answer a text, and we FaceTime. Right. Maybe not every day, but fairly often. And but at the same time, we gotta give her space. And encouraging her to take ownership and to take responsibility. It's easy to want to step in and fix everything and do everything and let me do this paperwork for you, but having the the love for them to release them and say, no, you can fill out that paperwork. You can make this decision. You don't need me to make it for you. That's just all part of releasing.
One of my favorite podcasts out there is one called Glue Guys. I highly, highly, highly recommend. It's Shane Battier and Alex Smith, and then I guess the person who started Instacart way back when. Oh, really? They kind of all have this conversation about teams, and they had a guy who was head of a school, private high school, on just the other day, and he talked about like your job as a parent is to be a CEO who fires themselves. Right? To think about it in those terms. You want to train your kid in such a way that you are replacing yourself in their life. And I think that's pretty interesting, to think about it in those terms. So, and I think, I tell a lot of students this, that at the end of the day, what really matters when you're picking a college is that you're happy. Right, and you want a community that you can thrive in, which I think is what you're getting at. Absolutely. Is where are those friendships going to be built? Where are those relationships going to happen? Can you do that here? You can always find ways to pay for it, right?
Right. Yeah. Hopefully,
you hope, but finding those true lasting relationships are hard to find.
Yeah. They are, and I tell you, and one of the things I said before, I'm biased about what we do here, but one of the things I've appreciated, even in the recent podcast here, as you've talked to some of our athletes, just how often the word family comes up. When they say, "What's your team like? What's your experience?" And I guess it's a family, it's a community, and because our coaches are so intentional about creating that community, about loving our athletes. And I think we do that well. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, speaking to fans that might be watching this, alumni, parents, what advice, what would you like to say about our athletic department in Johnson University to them?
Well, it's a purposeful community. Yeah. It's it's community, it's family, but not just for the sake of being community and family. That there is mission here, and there is purpose here, and I think parents who send us their students can trust that that's what we're after, and we don't always do it perfectly. Our students are all works in process, as you and I are works in process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's our goal, that's our heart.
Yeah.
So I think they can trust that that's what we're after, and then I think of others. If people who care about developing the next generation of leaders, of Christian leaders, of good citizens, of community leaders. It's a great way to invest in that. That they could know that if they're investing in the athletic program at Johnson or Johnson in general, that it's not just a gift; it is an investment. It really is an investment in that next generation. And so we've got even here athletically there are ways people can get involved. We've got amazing facilities when we go to other schools in our conference, and then we come back and realize, wow, we're really blessed. And at the same time, it was built for an athletic program that's smaller than what our athletic program is.
Absolutely.
So, there are some needs for locker room space and coaches' offices and training rooms and fitness center expansion, and there are legitimate needs there that if someone wanted to make that investment in the next generation, this is a place that good investments could be made.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Overdorf, thank you for being here today.
It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always good to have a good conversation. We'll be right back after this. And we are back, and in this segment, we want to look ahead to what's happening this upcoming week with the Royals. So tell us what games we got coming up, guys.
Yeah, so we actually have a men and women's soccer game here tonight. The women play at 5, the men play at 7. It's actually their last home game of the regular season, playing here tonight. So we're excited about that and hoping for a good turnout.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be tough games. The women against Truett McConnell. Truett has been year in, year out a staple in this conference for women's soccer. They're sitting undefeated in the conference right now, at the top of the standings. So obviously a tough task there. Our men, same deal. Truett's actually sitting at third. They're 7-2. But have always been a good soccer program. So these are two games that they aren't must wins by any stretch of the imagination, but they're tough task for sure. So both of our teams got to come out ready to roll.
Yeah. So our soccer team also plays again on Saturday. They play at Montreat, so that'll definitely be another battle for them. But hoping they can push through and make it to that conference tournament this year.
Yeah, I think for both teams, that is a huge game. Those are Montreat is a team that's sitting just ahead of us on both the men and women. That is a must win. That's a game we got to go and get, and so excited to see that. Hate that one's on the road, but still, we need to go get that one, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
Yeah, for sure. Well, transitioning over, our volleyball team's got some really important matches coming up. They've got Reinhardt at home this weekend on Saturday, and then they go on the road Tuesday to Tennessee Wesleyan, which is two matches that I think are both going to be really close, down to the wire, should go to 5 sets. So I think it'll be fun to watch those for sure. Yeah, I mentioned the Reinhardt at the beginning segment. They're sitting 12-0 in the conference, obviously in first place. CIU at 11-2, and then we are 10-2 right now. So that Reinhardt game is a huge game. Again, not a must win,
But it is going to kind of give us a good gauge for where we're at in the conference and what our chances are in the tournament. So a game that, man, we need support, to come out and be here. Hate that one lands on fall break on campus. So all of our people in the community, we're not going to have a whole lot of students on campus. That might be a good day to come out and watch a game and support our girls for sure. Tennessee Wesleyan sitting at 9-4 in the conference and beat us earlier in the year. They're one of our losses. So that is also a big game. We definitely need to go and get. So hopefully the girls can keep rolling and come out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also coming up this weekend, our golf team is taking a trip to the AAC showcase. So we're excited for them. They've had a pretty good season. I mean, especially for just being a second-year team. I'm really impressed. Me and Logan actually got to go down. When was that?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we went down to Chattanooga for the day so we could watch our team. And, I think it meant a lot to them for us to be there, and we loved it, getting to go down and see them and support them in real life, So, yeah, I'm excited to see them and how they do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this tournament. This is a showcase. It's just AAC teams. They do that in the fall just kind of as a preview to what's coming up in the spring season. Golf is a little interesting. They split up their season in 2 parts, so how that works. But it's going to be good because now we can kind of test to see where we're at. We've obviously got 2 second-place finishes, which is huge, and some of the AAC teams were in those. But this is a real test to see, like, where do we line up and what do we need to work on come this spring.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the last thing we're looking forward to is next weekend, both of our basketball teams on the road, starting their seasons off in away tournaments. So our men's basketball team will be on the road at Reinhardt, play some good competition there, and then our women's team will be on the road at Bethel, starting out in the tournament over there. So I'm excited for basketball season to get started. Both of them had 2 really high rankings.
Very impressed.
So just released the preseason polls for men's and women's basketball. Our men picked number 2 in the poll behind Pikeville, and our women picked number 3, with Pikeville being on top and Milligan just ahead of us there. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. I think both teams have this similar thing going on where Coach Sharp and I were actually talking about this last night, that here Pikeville is coming back at the top of this conference. They're returning. It looks like the majority of that team. And we have a lot of new pieces. So it's going to be, and I think we're extremely talented, and extremely deep. And I think that's the same case for the women as well. When you look back at Pikeville and Milligan, they have a lot of returning parts. We have a lot of new faces, So the question is going to be, how quick can we gel, right, as a team? Because I think the talent's there, and obviously being recognized as from the other coaches that talent's there. Yeah, it's going to be fun to get basketball rolling and coming up. We're going to do a preview starting next week. Yep. I'm not sure if we're going to do men or women next week. Addison is going to be your host for the next 2 weeks with the preview. I figured I did the last basketball, and you hear me talk about basketball enough that we need to get another non-basketball face out here to have some of those conversations. And so she's going to take over as the host for 2 weeks, and we'll have Coach Sharp, Coach Lahan, a couple of the players as well over the next 2 weeks. And we're excited about that. It's good to have those conversations.
Very excited.
Yeah. So that's going to do it today for the Royal Insider. Again, I'm Brandon Perry with Addison Lafayette and Logan Galbraith. We thank you for checking us out, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week.